A newlywed couple, Takashi and Michiko, get out of elevators unsure of where they are or how they got there. They approach a mysterious bar and are welcomed to Decim by the bartender, Decim. Decim asks the couple if they can remember anything. Takashi remembers the two of them cruising down a road in a convertible during their honeymoon, but can't think of anything else. Michiko echoes his thoughts. Decim thanks the two of them and proceeds to explain their situation. He is unable to tell them where they are. The two of them will now play a game. The game will be chosen by roulette. The two will stake their lives on the game. They cannot leave until the game is over. Unbelieving, Takashi and Michiko try and find a way out, but are unsuccessful. They return to Decim and refuse to play the game. Decim presents them with a room full of strung-up bodies and recommends against it. Now fearing for their lives, Takashi and Michiko agree to play the game. Takashi pushes a button that starts the roulette. The game that is selected is darts. A corner of Decim illuminates with gold light as two dartboards rise from the ground. Decim now explains the rules. They both start with 501 points and 7 darts each. Whoever reaches 0 or has the lowest score after all darts are thrown is the victor. Additionally, each section of the dartboard is linked to their various body parts and will inflict pain when hit. Takashi and Michiko are skeptical until they each throw a dart and cause each other pain. Takashi is now fully convinced, but is confused how someone could do something like this to their bodies. He confronts Decim and demands to know what he has done to him. Taking his time, Decim informs him he hasn't done anything. Decim tells Takashi that if they don't wish to be harmed, they can miss with their remaining darts. However, he will lose if the game were to end with the current score. Takashi returns, and Michiko asks him how it went. Takashi informs her of Decim's tip, and she happily agrees. The two miss their targets for 4 consecutive turns. On his 6th dart, Takashi remembers the room full of bodies and that he is staking his life on the game. He unsteadily throws his dart, hitting the dartboard causing Michiko pain as well as taking the lead. He apologizes immediately. After a break, they resume playing. As Michiko throws her 6th dart, the pain resurfaces causing her to stumble. Her dart hits the dartboard causing Takashi pain as well as regaining her the lead. Takashi in pain is beginning to think Michiko wants to cause him pain and win. He gets up, unaffected by Michiko's insistence that it wasn't her fault. He takes his last dart and is about to launch it, but Michiko holds her stomach and pleads for him to not hit it, because the baby could get injured. Michiko says she was going to surprise him with the news on their honeymoon. This calms down Takashi, who remembers that she had been more tired lately. He apologizes and hugs her, fully accepting that he is ready to become a father. He stands up to throw his last dart. Right as the dart leaves his hand, he has a flashback about overhearing a conversation on his wedding day. The dart ends up hitting the stomach section, tying his score with Michiko's. Michiko believes he did it on purpose. Neither confirming or denying, the man begins to explain that he believes Michiko was cheating on him the whole time. He further goes on to explain that he heard her two friends' comments on how lucky Maki is to have found someone so eager to please her needs, while also being married. After hearing Michiko deny his suspicions, he gives up on his hopeful dreams over living happily ever after with her, and walks over to her lone dart. Takashi then asks Decim if he could use another player's darts. Decim replies that it only matters where the dart is going. Whoever throws it does not matter. Takashi notes that this whole game has been impossible to win as a single person, and that the whole thing was rigged. Knowing that one of them will end up losing, Takashi asks what will occur once the victor is chosen. Decim responds that he is unable to answer that question. Takashi takes her dart and prepares to throw it, jeering that she must be ready to lose at something because she always wins at home, and addresses her by her nickname, Maki. Realizing that he is incorrect in his statements, Michiko stands up and tells him of Yuki Michida, the real owner of the nickname Maki. She explains that he really is wrong. Horrified, he runs up to plead his apology, but Michiko snatches the dart from his hand. As she throws the dart, Michiko has flashbacks of their relationship. From when she first met Takashi, cruising in the springtime, kissing, resting in bed, her taking a pregnancy test, and lastly, getting married. Michiko's dart hits the bullseye, netting her the win and breaking Takashi's heart. Takashi scrambles up and tries to yank the darts from the board to try again, but Michiko stops him knowing that they are already dead. Decim confirms they are dead. Humans are sent to either heaven or hell, when Decim exists to provide judgment of the deceased. Those who die at the same moment are invited to play a game and be judged. Having another flashback, Takashi remembers the reasons he began to suspect Michiko of cheating on him. He also remembers riding along to their honeymoon, but he crashed the car while trying to take her phone in a jealous fit. Devastated, he begs Decim to do something, for he must be God. Decim denies this, stating he's only an arbiter. Takashi then turns on Michiko and accuses her of having someone else's child. Michiko tries to convince Takashi that she wasn't unfaithful, but after seeing how lost Takashi is, Michiko walks away and cries. She then claims that she was cheating on him and was only after his money, showing a flashback to her having an affair but appearing remorseful. Takashi then tries to stab her with his darts, but Decim reveals a power to control/manifest wire and restrains him. Decim states the game is over and a ruling has been decided before rendering Takashi unconscious. Decim escorts the couple back to their elevators and bids them farewell. A no mask of an Oni is shown above Michiko's elevator, while one of a woman/geisha is above Takashi's. During the credits, scenes are shown from Takashi and Michiko's wedding, one of them showing Yuki's wedding invitation, indicating Michiko's story about Yuki to be true and her denying that she loved Takashi was a facade. After the credits, a short blue-haired woman, Nona, and a black-haired woman, mentioned to be Decim's new assistant approach. Nona compliments Decim. He thanks her and asks the new girl what she thinks. She thinks it is terrible. Nona mentions she'll get used to it. The black-haired woman then asks where each person went. Nona guesses that Takashi's soul was sent to be reincarnated and Michiko's was sent to the void, which Decim confirms. The black-haired woman then asks another question, but the episode ends. The black-haired woman is woken up by a strange girl who introduces herself as Nona. Nona asks if she is able to remember her name. She is unable to. Nona wants her to know that this is perfectly fine, for she doesn't have one. The black-haired woman is led by Nona to a single rail car. She asks Nona where they are going. Nona replies the 15th floor. They stop at a stone building and enter it. At the end of a corridor, they enter an elevator and meet the elevator operator known as Clavis. Nona tells Clavis to take them to Decim's place. He whispers a quick greeting to the black-haired woman, who greets him back as they proceed to the 15th floor. They reach the bar when Decim. Nona sits down at the bar, while the black-haired woman marvels at the elegance of the area. The bartender bows to Nona and turns his attention to the black-haired woman. He introduces himself as Decim. Returning the greeting, she asks about the nature of this place. Nona explains to her that Decim is where the deceased come to when they die. She continues that when they get here, they will play a game with their lives at stake. Nona then explains judgment is passed on the deceased based on their memories, as well as the extent of humanity they show throughout the game. She reveals their position as arbiters. The memories of the deceased are compiled and sent to the arbiters before they arrive. The arbiters are able to view the memories like a kaleidoscope. Nona simplifies the matter, stating it's like magic. Understanding the gist, the black-haired woman tries to ask a question, but is interrupted by Nona. Nona telepathically calls Quinn to send the memories of the new contestants. Quinn quickly responds and sends the memories to Decim and Nona. Receiving the memories causes Decim's irises to spin and bob. After taking in the new memories, Decim is left to do his job. Nona leads the black-haired woman away and begins to explain what is happening. Nona takes the black-haired woman out a side door and down a hallway. Nona mentions she is to be an assistant. They reach a door and enter a room full of mannequins. They discuss the black-haired woman and Nona agrees, mentioning it's Decim's hobby. The two sit down and face a wall. Nona informs her that at that moment, the deceased will be persuaded to play the game on the other side. The lights dim, and a wall panel opens to show that Takashi and Michiko are the contestants. Nona continues, telling her that the shock of dying causes people to forget they are dead, and it wouldn't be good if they were to realize it, as dead people would have no reason to risk their lives on a game. Thinking they are still alive allows the arbiters to scare the people into playing the game to be judged. They watch Decim intimidate Takashi and Michiko into playing the game through the open wall panel. The panel slides shut and the lights come back on. Arbiters cannot pass judgment using memories alone. Nona states that creating extreme circumstances puts people under heavy mental stress. This allows the arbiters to take in the darkest part of the guest's souls and pass judgment. Nona mentions fear is the most primal/basic emotion. Moving to the upper viewing area of the lounge, the black-haired woman notices that the mannequins are clothed. Nona tells her to focus on what is occurring below. The black-haired woman looks below to see a game of darts set up, and Nona notes that this isn't the norm, it's just what's been selected this time. They view the game of darts between Takashi and Michiko. Takashi throws the first dart and injures his wife. As he assesses his wife's wound, the black-haired woman asks what happened. Nona informs her that they are playing a game of pain, elaborating that the dartboards are linked to body parts and will cause pain. They watch as Takashi grasps his chest in pain after his wife threw her first dart. The game unsettles black-haired woman. Nona says that she'll get used to it. The couple begin to miss their next dart throws. The black-haired woman notices and thinks it's a good way to avoid hurting each other. Nona states that it might seem like a good idea to her, but those two truly fear that they will die if they lose. With the current scores, Michiko will win. Nona finishes her speech by stating that it's a dangerous path to take by losing, and no one wishes to truly give up their life so easily. Throwing his next dart, Takashi hits Michiko's board, causing her pain and taking the lead. Nona predicted this would happen, while the black-haired woman wants to know if it was intentional. Nona comments there is no direct way to know for sure. They only know the guest's past memories, not what they're currently thinking. At best, they can guess using experience. A hunch, the black-haired woman states. As Takashi's board is hit with another dart, Nona says there are many things even she doesn't know about how the mind works. She goes on to detail that the couple died in a car accident caused by Takashi. Takashi is angry, but Michiko reveals that she is pregnant, and she and Takashi make up. As Takashi throws his last dart, he gets distracted by his memories returning and hits Michiko's board. Nona comments how the games are designed to return memories in small doses. After the game, Michiko realizes they are dead. They watch Decim explain heaven and hell to the couple. Nona tells black-haired woman that they use those terms to help simplify the process for people, but in actuality they are the void and reincarnation. The game they witnessed is a tribunal of the soul. Just as they complete their talk, Takashi lashes out at Michiko. As she is at the other end of the room, Michiko remembers when Takashi gave his marriage offer, one that she happily accepted. She turns around and confesses to his fears. She cheated on him, the child was not his, and she never loved him. Decim sees the couple off, while Nona and the black-haired woman watch from the hallway, the end scene of episode 1. They meet Decim in the hallway. Nona compliments Decim. He thanks her, and asks the new girl what she thinks. She thinks it is terrible. Nona mentions she'll get used to it. The black-haired woman then asks where each person went. Nona guesses that Takashi's soul was sent to be reincarnated and Michiko's was sent to the void, which Decim confirms. The black-haired woman then asks them to recount the couple's memories so she can apply it to her own judgment. They go to the dartboard and Decim collects all the darts while the black-haired woman confirms that Michiko did cheat. She goes on to say that it was probably just a one-time fling. The scene of Michiko crying remorsefully after cheating is shown. The black-haired woman further believes that the baby really was Takashi's even though Michiko said it wasn't, claiming it was clearly a lie. Not understanding the why Michiko would lie, Decim asks what exactly could she gain from that. The black-haired woman thinks Michiko did it out of grief. She saved Takashi from thinking he killed his own child, even if he would resent her. Michiko lied to assuage Takashi's guilt and partly to trick Decim into believing he was a good person. Decim is surprised it was all an act and refutes her theory. After all, a dead person can't care about anyone other than themselves. The black-haired woman further states that Michiko's real feelings, her fondness for Takashi, further encouraged her actions. Decim understands this concept is love. Thinking even more, Decim considers that if Takashi hadn't overheard Michiko's friends talking while he exited the bathroom, they would have lived a happy life together. Turning, he apologizes to Nona for making a mistake. Though smiling at first, Nona swiftly grabs his bow tie to lower him to her level and coldly advises Decim not to ignore emotions just because he is an arbiter, letting him go after ensuring that he has understood the concept, mentioning everyone makes mistakes. Decim is shown to clench his fist. They go to the bar, and Decim serves the girls Nona's regular drink. They both express how good the drink is. Decim thanks them. As Nona finishes her drink, she teases Decim by saying that he defined by good drinks and seriousness. He is stony-faced and his hobby is building mannequins. The black-haired woman asks what she should do. Nona just tells her to keep doing what she's doing and leaves. Heading upwards in the lift, Clavis asks Nona how the black-haired woman fared. She tells him that she did well. However, Nona takes back what she said upon further review of Takashi's memories, coming to the conclusion that he is a mistrustful person and would have never been able to live peacefully. Nona says that the black-haired woman still has a way to go. Back at Decim, Decim says he is looking forward to working with the black-haired woman. Decim also apologizes for earlier mistake. He confesses that he has respect for people who live fulfilling lives, and admits he feels unfit to be an arbiter based on his decision at the end of the game. During the credits, many destroyed mannequins are shown with the focus on a female one with green eyes and hair. It cuts to the green-haired mannequin fully intact at a gathering of other mannequins. A red rose spouts among the gathering. She reaches out to touch the rose, but crumbles away with all the others as the rose sits there untouched. After the credits, Nona is speaking to Decim over the phone. Decim thanks her again. She dismisses his latest polite gesture, noting that the contract expires in 3 months. She hangs up and proceeds to read Chavot on the couch.